All right. Well, thank you guys for coming to our presentation today. We're going to present to you the Road to Dental School. We're from UCLA HSDA, which is the Hispanic Student Dental Association. And I'll just go ahead and introduce myself first. My name is Cameron Hankins. I'm a second year dental student. And just a little background about myself. I'm from SoCal originally. I grew up in Orange County, went to high school at Orange Lutheran High School, um, played basketball there, and did my best to try to get into a good university. Once I got to undergrad, I kind of knew that either medicine or dentistry was kind of the route that I wanted to go. So I just did a lot of shadowing, exploration, and just through my shadowing in dentistry, I really found that that was one of the passions that I had and what I wanted to follow. So I made my choice the middle of college, probably between my second and third year, and then I went about applying, and here I am at UCLA Dental School. So that's a little bit about me.
Hi everyone, I'm Bianca. Thank you for having us. I grew up in Southern California in San Bernardino, California. So, and when I got to UCR, actually, I graduated from UCR in 2014. But throughout my high school and college, I just did my best to figure out what I wanted to do, and it turned out to be dentistry. And UCR had so many cool opportunities to advance myself and really immerse myself and figure out if I wanted to do dental school. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about our journeys a little bit and how you can get to dental school if it's something that you like to pursue or are interested in.
Hi everyone, my name is Uying. I originally from Vietnam. I went to college in Washington State. It's called Central Washington University. Um, Unlike Bianca and Cameron, I didn't know what to do. I didn't think about dentistry until after I graduate. So it took me a while. I worked a little bit and then I figured out I like dentistry because I assist a dentist and I get more involved and I start thinking about applying to dental school. Um, it took me longer, but it's okay. I'm here now.
Okay, so like I said, we're just going to present to you a few things about dentistry and the road to get there. So first and foremost, I'm going to go ahead and explain some of the aspects of dentistry itself in terms of what it entails and what kind of procedures that we do on a daily basis and stuff like that. So I'll explain that to you guys. Okay, so this slide, I like it because it has a lot of different icons here that all represent some facet of dentistry. I'll just go over a few of the big ones. On the top left, you have, the health aspect of dentistry. Graduating dental school, you're going to become a doctor of dental surgery. So, you are going to be managing patients with certain health complications and stuff like that. And overall, the goal is to preserve and maintain a healthy oral environment. So that's really important. On the top right, we have the interpersonal aspect of dentistry. This is one of my favorite aspects because you get to build relationships with people over time. You have recurring patients that you see, once or twice a year at least. And it's just really nice to be able to talk to people and build friendships and relationships further than just a professional relationship. So that's really nice about dentistry. On the bottom right, we have the money sign. So dentists themselves, they do make a good living. They make good money. So that's always something that is a good thing to have in a career. You're going to be able to provide for your family and put food on the table. So that's very important. And then just besides that, you have the option and the opportunity to start your own practice or, you can work for someone else. There's a lot of different options in the business aspect of dentistry as well. On the bottom left, a little bit to alluding to that, you have the freedom of schedule. You have 24 hours in a day. You can practice dentistry as many hours of those as you want. It's up to you. If you have your own practice, you can set your own hours. Or if you're an employee, you can choose a opportunity that fits your, your career. If you only want to work for a certain person 3 days a week, then you can do that. If you want to work on the weekends, you can. So there's always opportunity in dentistry for that. Okay, so this slide here goes over a few of the most common dental procedures, I'd say. On the long list on the left, you guys can see a pretty comprehensive list of some of the things that we do as dentists. And I'm sure a lot of us have had some of these things on this list. I know I have had a few of these. So I'll go over a few of these pictures. In the middle of the screen, the top middle, we have what's called a crown prep. So we're going to reduce the decay or the damaged tooth structure, and then we end up placing like a tooth cap over it to secure and protect the tooth. On the top right, we have what's called bleaching or teeth whitening. As you can see, before and after, just changing the color of the teeth can make a big difference in someone's smile and how it looks. And then on the bottom left, we have what's called a root canal. So in this, we're going to remove all the, cracked tooth or decayed tooth, and then we're going to actually remove all of the nerve and pulp fibers from inside the tooth. And then after that, we fill everything back up, restore the tooth, the top of the tooth and everything like that, just to make sure that it will be healthy for the future and will be pain-free. And then on the bottom right, we have some restorations here. On the top, you can see the metal colored restorations. That's called amalgam. That's one of the type of restorations that we do. And then on the bottom, we have the tooth colored one. That one's called composite. So those fillings are some of the most common things that you do on a daily basis as a dentist. And then I really like this slide. These are some pretty prominent celebrities here. On the left, we have Tom Cruise. On the top, Morgan Freeman. On the bottom, we have Cristiano Ronaldo. And as you can see, they've all had some major dental work done, and their smile looks much, much better than what it used to. So that's one of the things that I like about dentistry, is that it can lead to big transformations. You can restore people's confidence and, give them a smile that they're really happy about. So that's really cool. Okay, so let me just talk quickly about the difference between a general dentist and a specialist. After you graduate from dental school, you basically become licensed as a general dentist, or a GP, as some people call them. As a general dentist, you can basically take care of most of the dental needs and procedures that people are going to need on a daily basis. And there's no residency required to become a general dentist. Like I said, once you graduate and you pass your boards, you're licensed as a general dentist and you can start practicing immediately. A specialist, on the other hand, is a general dentist who also graduated dental school, but then they decide to pursue postgraduate training in a residency program. So they're going to basically specialize on a specific aspect of dentistry, a specific subset, and they're going to go to residency and get additional training in this specific area and become basically the specialists or the masters of that area, handling the most complex procedures. And yeah, those are basically the two routes of dentistry right there. So on the next slide, I have a couple more, oh yeah, so we have the 12 dental specialties here. These are the ones that are recognized by the ADA. And as you can see, there's a lot of them. So there's a lot of options to go into after dental school if you still want to pursue additional training. A lot of these, some of us probably have heard of before. The most common ones here that we probably have heard of is orthodontics and dental-facial orthopedics. Those are the dentists that most people go to get braces or Invisalign and stuff like that. Also, oral and maxillofacial surgery. A lot of people go to them for wisdom teeth extractions or implant placement. So, but yeah, there's a lot of different aspects, different specialties available. And then just in terms of general career trajectories and opportunities, dentistry is very, very well versed in this area, because I'm going to go over a few of the options here. I'll go down the list, starting with private practice. You can, as a dentist, start your own private practice, which is meaning you're a business owner. You're going to essentially run the business how you want it, make your own hours, open your own days, and that's one way you can get into dentistry. There's also corporate dentistry, which are like large corporations or franchises that will hire dentists to work for them. You can work as a dental associate at either a private practice for someone else or for a corporate dentist office. There's also hospital dentistry if you like managing with medically complex situations and stuff like that. You can work in a hospital as a dentist. Public health dentistry, which is really important. We always need public health dentists because they're willing to work with the populations that are underserved and need the most need dental care the most. Military dentistry, you can work as a dentist for pretty much any of the branches of the military, and the benefit to that is you get to serve your country, help out the troops, and perform dental procedures on them. And as well, if you decide to do military dentistry before you actually start dental school, then you can also qualify for basically a military scholarship where they pay for your full education. And then also research in academia, where you're not necessarily practicing dentistry itself in terms of procedures on people, but you can, do research and be at the advent of starting new dental technologies, investigating different ways that we can implement new technologies and different characterizations of disease that we can find out. That way we can further improve the field of dentistry in general. So as you can see, there's a lot of options there. And then I'll go ahead and throw it off to Bianca here to talk about this slide.
A couple things to consider when you're considering dentistry is the money aspect. The average salary in California is about $151,490 but your average dental school debt can range from $261,000 to $321,000, depending on whether you go to a private or public school. So while there is a financial incentive, there is also a financial burden to keep in mind. There are ways to kind of go and manage this, but it's just something that is a really important topic to talk about. Another thing to consider is the fact that you can pick your schedule. Like Cameron said, you can work as much as you want or don't want to. And so this allows a really good family work balance for you if that's something that you really want to prioritize. Personally, this is something that really intrigued me because family is something that's really important to me. And so being able to take care of your family financially and be able to have a work balance is a really great perk. Another thing that is beneficial is job security. There's always going to be a need for dentists out there. And so there's always jobs available. Okay, so why would you choose dentistry? You really get to make a difference in people's lives. Dentistry can be a really hard topic for some people because it can induce some anxiety or fear. So if you are the type of person who you think you can make a difference in and make a more positive experience out of dentistry for someone, then that can really improve the field. And not only that, but you can help improve a smile and or relieve pain. And so it's a really important field and you really get to make a difference. And there is a huge opportunity to help those in need. A lot of people can't afford dental services. So if you can be that person who can offer treatment at a lower price or go into underserved areas and try to treat and educate on oral hygiene and oral health education, and that can really improve communities and work in a larger scale. So those are a couple of the reasons to go into dentistry and also career independence. Like Cameron mentioned, there's so many different ways you can go. You can go hospital, military, surgery, and it's all up to you. If you want to pursue something, then the opportunity is there. You just have to kind of work your tail off and get there, but the opportunities are always present, and that's really cool. Okay, so challenge accepted. How do you get into dental school? So not every path like this looks the same. I took a gap year and I worked between undergrad and grad school. Uyen took gap year and got her master's. You can, out of high school, go to community college or, transfer to a university, but there are so many different ways to get to dental school, but we're going to talk about the things you need in order to be eligible to get into dental school. So you're in college, so what next? So if you're not sure what you want to do, it's always good to start early. It doesn't have to be specifically in dentistry, just anything you might be interested, whether like volunteer activities or let's say you're into chess and you start a chess club, anything, just be active. So you want to pursue a major of your interest and get all your dental requirements done. So you don't have to pursue a biology major to get into dental school, but you just have to have the minimum prerequisites. So you can still do econ or, let's say you're really into business, like that can be your major too. So another thing, if you are interested, is join pre-dental societies at your university or community college, so you can start networking and looking for opportunities to, let's say, volunteer or assist or anything. Just always be on the lookout, and usually pre-dental societies have resources where you can apply or volunteer, and they already have networks with people, so all you have to do is join and see what they have. There are summer enrichment programs that you can apply to, and they kind of have classes, or they have a summer program where you can get a feel for dentistry, and they have like classes that will show you what dentistry is all about. So that's a really good program, and it looks really great on applications. Different dental schools have it. And like I said before, boost your extracurricular involvement, community service, volunteer activities, research, leadership. So it's quality over quantity. You don't want to have a bunch of different clubs. You would rather have one club or a couple clubs that you're really consistent in, and you can maybe apply to be a leader in those clubs. Or let's say you have a job, you're with that job for like at least 6 months. Like, don't go into many jobs because that won't look as good. And you want to foster and maintain positive relationships with faculty for future letters of recommendation. So as you go into your classes, try to go to office hours to make sure you make really good relationships with your professors, and let them know, hey, I might need a letter of rec, or you don't have to say that, but just say, I'm interested in dentistry, or I'm interested in medicine. And usually that will kind of spark a conversation. And then also something really important is to begin shadowing general dentists. And this is because every dental office is different, but you can have a feel for the whole office experience and what they do on a daily basis, their stress levels, how they treat their office staff, how they treat their patients, the relationships they have, and how active they are. You're not just sitting in an office, you're going in and you're doing exams, you're doing fillings, and it's just very dynamic field. So it's really important to immerse yourself. And lastly, I want to mention that you need to study and take the DAT, and we're going to go a little bit more into that later. So what about your GPA at UCLA? This is our class's statistics. Overall average GPA was 3.7, DAT was about a 23, and a science GPA about 3.7 again. So GPA is important, but if you are lacking in GPA, you want to like make sure that you're really proficient in other areas like volunteering or extracurriculars, or your letters of rec are really great. So that way they can see why you didn't do so well and that you have other great characteristics that you can offer for the dental school. So they do look at upward trends. So just because you get a C in a class doesn't mean that it's game over. There's still a chance, and just to make sure you're always improving and showing that you just had a bad quarter, but you work your tail off and you can do it. You can manage the stress of classes. So that's really important to consider. So, and they do look at course load and extracurriculars. So if you're just taking like, let's say 2 classes and you do really well, it would look even better if you take, let's say 3 or 4 classes and do really well, because they know you can manage many things at one time. Okay, so this is just a list of the application content that you need to apply. And so personal statement is one of them. Professional experience, let's say you have a job, academic enrichment programs, DAT score, scholarships, shadowing, and dental experience, extracurriculars, volunteering, community service, work, research experience, and letters of recommendation. Okay, we're going to talk about personal statement. So this is really going to tell your story about why you're choosing dentistry, and don't just make it generic talking about all the stuff in your CV or your resume. Make it personalized. Tell a story about your experiences. Talk about your hardship and struggles, but keep it positive and show how you grew from any hardship or bad experiences. And then also use your writing centers at your school. They're there to help you, and you're already paying tuition, so just go and take advantage of their help. And they're really good at writing. And usually us science people aren't as good at writing, but like personally, it took me a really long time to write mine. So, but this is their job, so they can help you and implement really good grammar and making sure that your story makes sense and it follows a really good plot and timeline.
All right, this is Uying again, and I will talk about DAT. So the DAT Basic, it's offered daily at Prometric Testing Center, and it's a computer-based format, and you can retake the DAT the second time. If you're not happy with your first time, the waiting period is 90 days. Your scores can be valid between 3 to 5 years, depending on the school you apply. The score can range between 1 to 30. 1 is the lowest and 30 is the highest score. The application is the deadline for the application is around in November. So you want to take the test before that. So you can include it with your application. You can find more information in the website ada.org. Okay, so the DAT breakdown, there are 4 topics that you're gonna take during the test. The first topic is survey of natural science. You will have 90 minutes to complete 100 questions. And in these 100 questions, there will be 40 of biology, 30 of general chemistry, and 30 of organic chemistry. Each of these subjects, it will have its own score, and then also on top of that, you will have a total science score of that of the natural science. The second topic is perceptual ability test. You have 60 minutes to complete 90 questions, and in those questions, there will be a lot of different kind of pattern. You have keyhole, top, front end, angle ranking, hole punching, cube counting, pattern folding, and this topic also have its own score. The third one is reading comprehension. You have 60 minutes to complete 50 questions. You have several passages, and after you read these passages, you will answer the question, and it has its own scores. The last one is quantitative reasoning, and this is basically math. You have 45 minutes to complete 40 questions, and it will have its own score. So to prepare for DAT, we gather some useful resource. This is not mandatory to get for each subject. This is just our recommendation. For biology, we recommend to use Ferrell's Notes or CliffNote AP Bio. This is free on the internet. You can use DAT Destroyer Biology books. For OChem and GenChem, we recommend using chat video and DAT Bootcamp. And I know that DAT Bootcamp, they have a mic video too, and I think it's very good as well. For PAT section, DAT Bootcamp, again, is very good. I think Kaplan also good, but very expensive. In my personal experience, I never use Kaplan because it's just too expensive. For reading comprehension, DAT Bootcamp, Crack DAT, or Kaplan. For the quantitative reasoning, DAT Destroyer is very good. I also use DAT Bootcamp. So how long should you study for the DAT? So it depends on your understanding of the subject. For me, I took undergrad, I took general chemistry, organic chemistry a long time ago. So when I study for the DAT, I basically kind of start from scratch. So it took me a while, took me longer to study for DAT. But for some of you that fresh from college, it probably take less than a few months to study for DAT. When you study, you should take a lot of practice tests as you can, review all the questions that you got wrong, and make sure you have a schedule to keep up with studying. So again, make a plan. This is our suggestion for your plan. So first, you should take a diagnostic test. I really recommend the DAT Bootcamp. They have a lot of tests, the entire DAT test, and you can take one of those practice tests and see how much you get and which area, which subject that you think you can improve. Set the goal score for you and decide what kind of resource that you want to use to study, and make sure to create a weekly calendar and stick with it. For the long-term study, it's about 3 to 4 months. For short-term study, it's 1 to 2 months. But for me personally, it took me more than 5 months just because I forgot a lot of stuff since my undergrad. If you guys have any question, you can email us or Bianca or Cameron.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, you can always email our organizations, UCLA HSDA @gmail.com. And, if you have any questions regarding the field of dentistry itself or anything you saw in this presentation or applying or anything like that, feel free to shoot us the email and we'll definitely get back to you because we're here to help you and answer your questions.
All right.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
All right, I'm gonna stop.